Welcome to the WTB, the What You Talking About podcast, and I am here with only two of the Halls today. I'm here with Jalen Hall and Gary Hall. Jalen, our super duper producer, bringing in the beats with the intro. Also, today's episode is brought to you by Webb's Barbershop, brought to you out of Lebanon, Tennessee. Scan the QR code on the screen if you want to go ahead and book you an appointment. And all right, so today we're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and dive right into the video. We're going to talk about Dr. Umar Johnson's interview with the Daily Wrap-Up crew. It's the second part of the interview, and we're going to go ahead and get right to the video. Bam!
We think we win when we lose.
Is that why, when Africans or the Caribbeans come over here and they be like, yo, you know what? Y'all got it easy. Like, you know what I mean? Y'all just being lazy.
Compared to what they come from.
Right, yeah.
And when they come, they take advantage of whatever they can do. So they'll work at the taxi. They'll work at the airport security, right? And they'll save that money and they will send it back home.
Yeah.
Many of them come over there to hustle and to send the money back home. And I don't have no problem with them doing that. You understand? But what I do need the African immigrant brother and sister to understand, America will give you opportunity that she will never give me because you are not a threat. You can be 100%. Deported whenever they feel like it.
True.
You can be stripped of your American citizenship or your green card whenever they feel like it. They can strip me of my citizenship, but where do they send me? Nowhere. We are the only people that cannot be deported. And that's why America can't stand us, even though she's the reason she can't get rid of us.
So I know you said earlier that you don't want to beg anybody to be a part of the movement, basically.
Yes,
right?
Or the race.
Right. So, but it just seems like a lot of people are ignorant to what's going on here. So it wouldn't be begging. I just think they need to be educated. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
I think they're ignoring it.
I don't disagree totally. You have Negroes and you have coons.
Okay.
The Negro is completely ignorant. He would respond to what you just suggested. Take a Negro who think white people are everything. White women are beautiful. White people are more intelligent. Black people are lazy. He's a Negro. He's been miseducated. You educate him, you can bring him back into the revolution. Right?
Right.
He was just a Negro. He didn't know.
Right.
But then you got the coon. The coon knows that the white man ain't better. The coon knows that black people are the original people. But he's paid and financed to intentionally mislead his people. The Negro I can work with because I can educate him out of his situation.
Right.
The coon is dangerous. The coon has stabbed me in my back the minute I turned my back. And that's why many of our African leaders from around the world have been betrayed by members of their inner circle. Patrice Lumumba, murdered by a friend. Thomas Sankara, murdered by a stepbrother. Malcolm X, murdered by people he trusted. Dr. King, set up by people he trusted. When you look at the black struggle globally, because you got to look at all of our heroes and sheroes, not just the ones here. Many of them were set up and sabotaged by people they grew up with and who they trusted. Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown in Ghana with the assistance of his college roommate at Lincoln University in Pennsylvania. The State Department found his roommate, sent him to Ghana to help overthrow his roommate, who was the first democratically elected president in Africa post-colonization.
That's like the Fred Hampton story I've seen recently. You know?
Right. Now.
Okay. So, I get confused sometimes with Dr. Umar as far as like who's literally the worst enemy. Like, who is it? Is it us against us? Because based on what he was just saying there, we're literally our biggest enemies against ourselves, which I agree with a lot of the points that he makes on when he comes to that. But then also he blames white people for for us being in the situation we're in. So who is it? I'm trying to figure out who's the bad guy.
Well, I'm looking at the situation and like I said, Dr. Umar, he's kind of complicated. A little bit, but yeah, and some of it, like when we used to talk about, maybe some of the stuff he talking about, I don't know if he actually backing that up or is he just talking.
Yeah.
But some of the talking points he was making I guess, at times make sense because, like I said, we are our own worst enemy. But then again, how did that come about? And that came from slavery, And it just like I was just telling you, once we got free from slavery, a question came up.
Yeah.
It's like, what we do now?
Yeah.
What's our option?
Like, what do you actually do?
We're free. What we do now?
So
I mean, we start our own business.
yeah.
You know, what we.
I mean, like, where do you go?
All that wasn't
You
even
don't have.
there.
I mean, you don't have money. I mean, you don't really
Yeah.
have resources. You don't have transportation.
really any
You just have
community.
yourselves.
Yeah.
You don't really have anything.
So I mean, do you just start going off? And I had to go do some research on what did they
Yeah.
actually do as soon as like they were free, because that is a very interesting thing. Like
Yeah.
that is something like they definitely don't teach you in schools.
Yeah, like
what did they do right afterwards? It's just
we had a plan.
it was just more or less slaves were freed, and thus, you know, 10, 15 years later, you know, that's pretty much it. There's just this gap in time where you don't really know what happened.
They
What
went
did
right
do? How
back
did they even
home.
get to the next point? Like eventually they built Black Wall Street. A lot of great things took place, but like, how did it start? Like
Yeah.
once it was like, all right, now, you know, you're released from school, you know, but even though it was prison, you know, but
Yeah,
worse,
basically,
they're just like, all right, well,
concentration camp or
they're
whatever.
like, oh my God, they actually,
whatever
we
you
got
want to
out.
call it.
Yeah, it's like we are
yeah.
actually out now.
Yeah, so and it's just like I said, with looking at Dr. Umar on his point right there, it's like, yeah, it's like we was put in a situation. So, but and then like I said, taking that from so many years and the mindset been set a certain way, it's just like I say, he clarified like 3 different type of black people right there, you know, maybe 4 or something. But like I say, he could say
He said 2.
Yeah, it was 3 actually.
The coon and the Negro.
Not well, it was another. Yeah, but it was a coon. Then he said it was another one.
Huh?
Somebody.
Negro.
It was
Yeah,
the coon
but
and the Negro.
he said he could work with the Negro.
Well, yeah, they can still
Yeah,
be
because he
brought
said
back. They're
you
not
can-
too far gone.
Get their mind back, but it said the coon was it or something.
Well, no, they're
that he was
gone,
look-
but they're dangerous
he
because
said, yeah, he said,
you know they've lost themselves, their identity.
yeah,
Pretty
he's
much
like
just-
they know,
yeah, they
but
know
they just decided that hey, I'm getting this money.
a lot of time. Yeah,
Yeah. So and it look back on history, like he even said to a certain degree, in a lot of incidents where we have had black leaders,
yeah.
it came to a tragic end. In most cases, you know, either they lost their life,
But he was saying it
Or
was
they went to-
self-sabotage by us.
yeah, or went to prison.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But it's just like I say, but it was probably easy because, like I say, maybe it wasn't your plan in the inner circle to do it.
Yeah,
But when I'm offering you such and such and such and such, somebody in that circle is going to take that deal.
yeah,
And that's what happens in most cases, I think, is that they offered, you know, it's just like, yeah, instead of somebody outside this circle making it look like it could be something else,
yeah.
what it really is, we're going to take it inside, offer you some money, some position or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like I said, a lot of these people probably set up and the people around them wind up benefiting.
Oh yeah. Let's
And
go
that-
ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but no, let's just go ahead and get back to the video. Did you have anything to say, Jay?
Not really, no.
All right, let's just go back to it.
My opinion on this is very far removed from what is actually being said. I don't feel like that there is any way to advance black people outside of this without using white people in some sort of or coexisting with white people.
Yeah, like that's the thing is he said that in the first part of the interview. Like we can't do everything all black because we simply don't have enough manufacturers, you know, resources. We don't produce enough stuff to actually just live and do things all black. We need other people. That part is, you know, that's real.
And
So-
it won't just flip over. It's like
But the idea,
how you make that transition?
right. And the idea is that eventually
Yeah.
we get to a point where it is all black, but
Yeah.
I just don't really think that will happen.
I don't think
Yeah.
like at the point that you try to like so many years are going to have to pass by in advance for us to get to that point.
We have to have some sort of like resource or something that gives us power in the situation. And as it stands, we're just visitors in somebody else's home, right? And
We just paying deposits
Right,
to
yeah.
everybody else.
right. So
And no
like
return.
we have nothing that really, other than like I don't know, entertainment.
I mean, we,
nothing.
I mean, we have
we a
entertainment.
money making machine.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Just know
And
how to sell
everybody
products
else
and stuff
reaps
like
off
that.
of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a lot of times, and people a lot of times they
benefits
rip
off
off,
of it.
they rip off the culture and
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
turn
and
it their own
culture,
way.
the
He just like said,
Culture vultures, yeah, a lot of that.
we giving what what he said, the Chinese or somebody $30 billion a year.
Well, the other,
whatever,
you know, there's
something like
other
that.
nationalities that
And
got
different
some-
industries
Yeah, 30
and all this, and
Yeah.
the money we putting towards things that don't even matter.
Yeah,
Right.
And he's saying, and you talking about reparation, the money's already been spent.
yeah,
We could have kept our own money, basically what he was saying, kept our own money, and we would have already had our own reparation. But the mindset would never make you look at it the way you supposed to look at it.
No.
Because like I say, that's kind of like you've been brainwashed to believe or do a certain thing. You just going to do that.
yeah.
And nobody can tell you different. Okay.
Let's get back to it.
Okay.
Point, he weaved his way into his trust, sold him out, gave the FBI a drawing of Fred Hampton's apartment, drugged his Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
You understand? So when you get in this movement for black liberation, you don't have no friends.
I have a quick question for you that may be personal. Do you feel like, since you're a big impact to the black community, that you're in danger?
I'd say this. I get death threats on a regular basis. I know the FBI and CIA tap my phone. They've been doing it since my first trip to Africa, 2005. There's about 6 people who come around me on a regular basis who I'm pretty certain are paid agents. Some of the women who have expressed interest in me over the past 6 months, I definitely believe that they are paid agents. But I'm going to say this to you. When I look at Malcolm and Martin, and I listen to their friends who survived them, they often talk about how those 2 great black leaders, 2 of my heroes, got to a point in their life where they were so spiritually and emotionally exhausted from the threat of death that they felt they secretly wished for it to come to get it over with.
Because like always looking over your shoulder kind of
They
situation.
got tired of it.
Right.
Dr. King got tired of it. Malcolm got tired of it. And I think they asked the Lord, just make sure when they hit me, they don't hit my daughter and children, my wife and children. You feel me? I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm that fatigued from the threat that it takes away my commitment to the struggle. Now, they never lost their commitment to the struggle.
Yeah.
But they basically died before they died, if you understand what I'm saying. Because once you psychologically exhausted with the threat of death, there's nothing else to live for. I'm still struggling, but I'm not enjoying my life.
Gotcha.
My wife can't really enjoy me. My kids can't really enjoy me because my mind has become beaten down with the prospect of death. Remember, they bombed Dr. King house twice.
Right.
They bombed Malcolm house the day before a week before he died, right? I don't ever want to get like that. So I discipline myself. I practice traditional African spirituality. I try to stay as rooted as possible. I need to do a better job, but that's my walk. The biggest thing that insulates me, though, is I believe I was born to do what I did, what I'm doing. I don't believe I was born to be nothing else but what I am right now. And because I believe that I'm on a God-given mission, and because I believe that the ancestors are helping me as much as possible to achieve the goals that I have in mind for my people, which is ultimately liberation for all African folks, if I die in the work, it was my destiny. And if I don't, it wasn't. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm content with whatever happens. But my comfort and peace of mind comes from knowing that this is the destiny I negotiated with God in heaven before I incarnated. So it don't really bother me.
So let me ask you this question, right? Just to go back to the dating outside your race. You once said that dating interracially is a form of self-hatred.
Absolutely.
Why do you believe that?
Absolutely. Because why do you want to stare in the face of a member of the people who have committed the greatest human atrocities against your people? These are the people.
Is that only specifically to white people, or do you mean if they date an Asian woman or an Indian woman? Is that still the same?
Well, I got 2 answers. If we dealing with white people,
Right.
why would you want one of them after what they've done to us and continue to do? Because your white girlfriend's still a racist. She still doesn't value black life. You understand? That white man Serena Williams is married to. He don't value black life. You understand? That white woman that took $1 billion from Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods, yeah.
She don't value black life, right? I could give you countless examples of people I've met in therapy who were called the N-word by white husbands and white wives. You understand me? White people who have sex with you. Didn't the slave master sleep with our mothers and grandmothers? So just because they land in the bed with you, what makes you think that they shed their racism? They don't. White people are racist. All white people are racist. There's no exceptions. They may not all be bigots, but they're all racist. Yeah. They all want their people to dominate unfairly the resources, the opportunities, and the privileges of the society.
So
every white person.
What about the people that just say love is love, right?
Who believes love is love?
I mean, that's most people's answer.
That might be most black people. Love ain't love for most white folks. Everything white people do has a political purpose. Everything white people do has a political purpose.
I got to cut it right there for a second. Like,
us.
Doesn't everybody though?
What?
Doesn't everybody want that for their people?
Love?
No. To like ultimately kind of want to dominate it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, it is kind of part of what he usually pushes, like black dominance, black prominence. Blackity black. No, I mean,
I get you.
And so like Asian people, they're going to keep trying to reproduce until they are top dogs. I mean, China won't stop until they are absolutely the most dominant superpower on earth, which they pretty much are already. So, I mean, it's, I feel like it's multiracial. I mean, pretty sure Spanish would love to be at the top.
And in most athletic events, you see your people or they people, whoever, you pulling for who you pulling for. And usually you pulling for your race.
Yeah.
Somehow that took precedence over everything. And like I said, and I guess it gives you a certain sense of, a level of even knowing it's not you, just a certain level of pride that like, damn, we won all the events.
Yeah,
and we won them all, and it's like maybe that's a sign of something. I don't know. But that's kind of how you say dominating, and it's just like say most people want that. I would say that, not that I mean, some people might feel a different way if it ain't them.
Yeah,
but if it actually was them, it's kind of like I guess when Iowa came in second place. Was it Iowa, the girl, and the Miss Biden, his wife, and wanted her to come anyway.
Yeah,
since she had a great performance, Caitlyn.
Yeah, and it's like they lost.
And I mean, Caitlyn was balling, but that is not what that was for.
No,
this is more about always whoever won got that invite. You just felt a certain kind because she connected to Caitlyn.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I see myself. So she felt a certain type of way inside. I just want to invite her.
Yeah.
The team, everybody, when they start doing that. So that like I say, it's a certain type of feel you get. But it's that wrong.
I don't know. I don't
think
really
about
think that. I don't know if that thought process is wrong. It's only wrong if people I feel like are being hurt in between, like if you're actually like wrongfully doing people, wrong. Yes, that is a problem. But I mean, to want that for your people, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. To want it is not a bad thing. I feel like you can want a lot of things. That's not a bad thing.
Man.
But what?
I've internally debated this question for many years within myself ever since I became aware of the world and where I stand in it.
Okay.
And my only solution or answer to this problem is that we will never be able to move ahead until there is some sort of great reset. It doesn't matter what leaps and bounds we achieve.
Are you talking about like meteorite?
Yeah, like almost like an almighty push.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I got you. Yeah. So, yeah, he's talking about
the
end.
Yeah.
Ice age.
We would have to rise
volcanic times.
We just have to rise above and come back.
He's talking about humanitarian.
Humanitarian, because there's... We'll never be able to. This is an insurmountable fight that they are trying to fight.
Yeah,
there is a part of me that really does believe that.
If we achieve,
because we're going to be fighting this until the end,
and we're not just going to be fighting this here. It's the world.
Yeah,
So if we achieve whatever Dr. Umar is trying to achieve here in America, what are we doing about China? What are we doing about Russia? Because it's not just like they're going to be cool with us. It's like a much larger scale fight that we would have to fight that we are not at all ready for, given the circumstances we're in.
And more than likely, we'll never be ready for that fight.
No, it can never achieve that.
No, that would there's just not enough numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
but even with the numbers, right now, like, you know, the culture as it stands, the mentality is not thinking of and this is something that
most of the time we're not even focused on the biggest picture that's going on. Like most people don't even know what's going on in schools.
Right. And this is something that I thought was ironic that Dr. Umar was saying, is that he wants to set up all this like future proof stuff for black people and all this that will come years later. But then as it stands right now with relationships with people outside of the black race or anything like that, look, man, we are not in a position to be denying or turning away anybody. Yeah. Right. So like we can't be saying no now, but then yes to this later without accepting the fact that we got to deal with this right now as our means to get to that.
Yeah.
In other words, we're gonna have to do some blending and accept.
Well, look, until we're all goobacks, it's not really going to work. I mean, you know, because
ultimately,
we'll probably end before that happens.
Right? Yeah, but I mean, as the plan is working right now, if we're going to make that happen at all remotely in any type of way, we have to take in what we can from wherever, and then build with what we got with that.
And he basically said we have the finances if we took our own finances and not wasted our finances on things that we didn't need. And that's not gonna happen me. But you know what I'm saying? But and it's just like I say, I'm about like Jay, it's got to, we're gonna come to a point, you know, and it's just kind of like I always go back to God, you know, when maybe like say the Great Reset. When he come back or whatever and change the world or whatever it may be, that's what this world is heading to. Because it's like, even every time something comes up, it's just kind of like the transgender, people don't know identity, all these different things. We already had major problems. And it's like we want to create new ones on top of the problem we ain't even fixed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so if you ain't fixed the problems that you really had, and you add new ones, how you, where you going?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, okay, help me understand how you transition to where you supposed to go, not knowing where you going.
Yeah. No clue.
Okay.
I mostly stopped it at first because when he said all white people are racist, that was the main thing also that I was going to kick it to, was I just thought that was a crazy statement. Like, just they're all inherently racist. I feel like that means everyone is
inherently racist.
Yes. And I mean,
so that's the statement that he's trying to make. I can't
just say it about just white people. I mean, I feel like that's everyone.
Yeah, there's some impartial or bias to everybody in some type of way, in either in a positive or negative context. That is another thing. There is like what I would consider to be like pro racism. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the stipulation.
You have a pure form.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
that
like
strikes you and you know,
right?
And then you have some people that don't know,
right?
And you kind of know maybe they just don't know,
right?
But you talk to them and they like these really nice people or whatever, you know. But they just ain't from the same place you from,
right?
You know,
I just find most people.
Sometimes you could connect, but that pure form, is the pure form. And that's on any side.
Yeah.
The people that don't like you will let you know they don't like it.
Yeah.
But what I meant by that, like, pro racism thing is like that there's people with the idea that are outside of black race or any race that believe, like you said about the coons, that believe that these people are superior.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yes, that they're more intelligent inherently. And
right. Yeah. It's very weird to hear that from like So, like, whenever a white guy says, like, you know, a black person is more athletic or something like that, I mean, that is like a pro, but
it's
at
like,
the same time, like,
it's frustrating for me to hear that sometimes because I've seen white people really be able to play basketball or other sports and stuff like that. And it's like, stop stereotyping to give yourself an excuse.
right.
And that's what it feels like to me most of the time. Let's get back to the video.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir, Bo.
Yeah. Power.
No.
I don't foresee. So, like, with the power thing, man, like, there is no reality where we can achieve any of this power without there being bloodshed or some sort of fight. There's gonna have to be some sort of.
Yeah, for us to achieve it on the level that he's talking about here.
Right.
I mean, I feel like, the only way
Nobody is just giving up power
overthrow
that easily, and there's no way. I mean, maybe we could, but like at the same time.
Well, my thing is, he said we made no progress, and I'm just like, all those things that were listed is progress. I can't sit here and act like it's nothing.
Okay,
It's not far, but
let me pose this question, because he like posing questions. If we made no progress, then how much progress has he made towards the plan that he said God had him on?
That would be a good question for him.
Yeah, because if there's no progress, that means he's made none.
Yeah, because blacks haven't done anything.
Yeah, because it's like, well,
he has a whole pro-black agenda.
Yeah, so it's zero progress. So he's more talking about things that we need to do that we not in no way possible can achieve.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I say, I hear him on some wide ideas because I'm not, it's like, it's so broad what he's saying in a way that you can't achieve it. So why would I try to shoot for something and not look at the smaller steps? Because if you're really trying to actually change something, you got to take smaller steps. Now, if you got an avenue or something to support you and basically a funding, some money or something to support you, can move forward in anything. But if you don't really have that and you need support, you got to find baby steps to take.
Yeah.
Or whatever you trying to change, because he's confessing on one hand, we can't live without basically the economy and the people that run the economy.
Yeah.
So on the other hand, I want to use them to change our lives. But then if I'm using you to change our lives, then how much help are you really going to give me?
After a while, they're going to just stop when they realize that you're just, hey, we know what you're doing. Your plan's to overthrow us.
You're saying it. Yeah. So
I'm not doing business with you anymore.
To change everything to help us against. So that's why I said these unrealistic goals and unrealistic and like I said, it's just like I got my boy I talk to a lot of times, and I tell him, I say, I understand his thinking of how he want to change things and go about, but some of this stuff is so far-fetched and unrealistic, you got to start somewhere. You can't start talking about a broad plan, because the plan is working for somebody.
Yeah.
It might not be working for me, you, or somebody else, but it's working for somebody. So, yeah.
And my thing is this, sort of like, okay, his main big thing right now is he's trying to start a school, and he's trying to get, black people educated, and pro-blackness basically is what he's trying to do. So at the end of the day, if all the stuff that he said was minuscule and it didn't mean anything and it meant no progress, what progress is his school going to do? So basically all his life's work is going to just be for nothing, is what it sounds like to me. But he does contradict himself a lot. But let's get back to
political purpose. Ain't no lovers love a white.
Would we be considered racist if we only date within our race?
No, that's what you call race loyalty. And racism is a group system of exploitation, discrimination, oppression, bias, where one group seeks to deny all members of another group their fair share of resources, opportunities, and privileges. You know why you can't be a racist? You don't own a damn thing white people need in order to live. True. White people need you for nothing, but you need them. Whose schools our kids go to? Theirs.
True.
Our money in whose banks? Theirs. Who's building the houses we need to rent and buy? Them. Who's shipping our stuff around the world that we need to order to live? Them. You follow me? They don't need us for shit. We need them for everything. We are as dependent on white people today as we was when slavery ended 157 years ago.
So,
In my opinion, if you talk to an integrationist, and say, how far have we come since slavery? Oh, we've come very far. We got a black president. Now we got a black vice president. We got a black Supreme Court justice. We got about 10 black billionaires. We got about 100 black millionaires.
Ain't shit changing.
Because their definition of progress is based exclusively on superficial assets. Are you following me? Now that's the integrationist. Now you come to me, the nationalist, the Pan-African nationalist. How much progress have we made since slavery? Zero. But Dr. Umar, how can you say that? Black people got master's degrees, doctorate degrees, houses in white neighborhoods. We own our own businesses. We got millionaires. We got tech companies. Here's my question. To what extent are we now in a better position to protect and dictate the lives of our children today than we was when slavery ended? Let me ask it another way. When slavery ended, we owned 0.5% of all the wealth in America. Guess how much we own now?
The same.
1/2 of 1% of all the wealth in America. What the fuck has changed? Nothing at all but the appearance of things.
Right.
The only thing they did when they ended slavery is change the way it looked. They traded in slavery. Before the 13th Amendment, we were owned by individuals. We was the property of individual slaveholders. After the 13th Amendment, we became property of the government itself. We are slaves of the state.
So
Still not free.
let me ask you a question, because
In other words, if you walk out here right now and a police officer pulls you over and takes your life, God forbid, unjustifiably, how was that any better than you being on the plantation picking cotton and the overseer just decides to get off his horse and blow your damn brains out? 157 years apart. Was there any difference in the power dynamic?
Hell no.
Nothing at all.
You're right.
We are exactly where we were.
there's no ramifications.
Power is the measuring stick, y'all. Not education, not income, not billionaires and millionaires. How many black people on TV, Obamas and Kamalas? That's irrelevant. How much power do we have to force white people to leave us the hell alone?
Okay. Like, one thing that I always hear is, what did he do? And everybody seems to act like they have a lot of regret about voting for Barack. So nobody ever seems to ask the question, would you vote for Mitt Romney now? Would you have voted for him? John McCain? Should they have been president? I mean, I guess that's what we should have rocked with. I mean, I guess they would have had the better politics at the end of the day. So, I mean, I guess so we vote for them. Same thing still happens. They still push their same agenda that was going to probably pop up anyway and still end up in the same place. I thought there was progress by the end of Barack's, presidency, considering we were in a recession at the beginning of it, and at the end of it, economy was pretty much booming by the end. And by the time Trump got there, it started booming even more. But it's like, hey, I mean, we were in a good spot when it ended. Think about where we are now. I think we were in a much better spot then. So to say that we didn't make any progress, it sounds like, considering the hole that we were in, I thought we did make some.
The only curveball I'm gonna throw on this one was it's like when, and it's, I think I done talked about this before, but it's kind of like when Barack got elected, it kind of led down to a dark road of the Republicans and the Democrat not agreeing, and it opened. I mean, not on this level. Not on this level.
It has.
They was in the trench. It's probably happened way back in the past.
It's
but as long as I was living,
we've been paying attention.
I'm saying, I've been
paying attention. There's a difference.
They did not. I don't know anybody
because you didn't.
That one side is just.
Did you follow politics as much before Barack?
Yeah, I used to be into politics a long time ago. It's just like I just realized once you get into it, sometimes you realize how it works, and you realize it's just a bunch of bull at some point. So you kind of just learn this and know that at some point. it is what it is. But I felt as though when Barack got elected, the Republicans had pretty much decided not to agree with anything he did. So regardless of what came out of it, at the end, I thought that created like I thought race relations was heading in the right direction. I felt like, and I ain't gonna say it across the board. It could have.
Are they terrible now?
Yeah.
Are they bad now?
At the time, because when you play it up on the media, and you had Barack, and you saw all these bad things people were saying.
Because the only thing people seem to be upset now about is gays and transgenders.
I'm talking about during the Barack elections.
Yeah.
Doing when all that came about.
There was a lot of hate at that time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it was more like I said, you didn't know it was that level until a lot of stuff started coming out. Even later when the Trump elections came, so it led down a kind of, you started a situation with Barack. And like I said, it kind of opened a door where it seemed like, to me, is a lot of disagreement with wasn't going to actually try to fix any problem. And like I said, so to me, it almost led to me, it feels as though that it kind of worsened our situation as black people. And like I said, now, I can't say individually you can't rise out of it or whatever. I just felt like it just seemed like relationships.
With who?
Just white people in general.
I feel like they've got nothing but better.
I'm saying at that particular time, because it was just like I said, a lot of people, do you not remember people was not agreeing with this?
Yeah.
So a lot of people
more did because
got
he became the president.
into a lot of misunderstandings. Now people was cool.
A lot more did because he won the presidency by a landslide.
But a lot of people start showing how they really felt about the situation.
They really didn't start showing that until Trump was elected.
That happened during the Obama election.
Man, it was worse the last time. So
I'm saying that happened.
And this was going back
and
between,
a lot of people
it was
didn't
agree
when
Bush
with
was
that.
elected. People were mad when Bush was elected.
A lot of people were showing their true colors or how they felt when that election came about. I think they really showed their true colors
when they stormed the Capitol. Nobody stormed the Capitol during his election. Did anything crazy like that take place? I don't remember. I don't remember people overthrowing democracy. No, we ain't got to go there.
Okay, I'm saying.
Don't get upset. I have something to come back
I'm saying nobody did all that, but I just know from
things got
what
worse
my
then.
job is.
They got worse then.
My job, the people, how they really felt. A lot of people, you didn't know how they felt until that actually came about. And a lot of things came out where they was, even at my job, they started sending out statements about people doing certain things, saying certain things, because people started getting upset because the whole situation and how people really want to explain about how they felt about what was going on. And like I said, looking back on it, everybody got a point of view. And now looking that we done went through the Obama and the Trump era, I'm thinking a lot of people probably are reflecting back now, looking at all of it different, because I didn't agree with a lot of stuff Obama did, and I didn't agree with a lot of stuff Trump did, but like I said, I could see some of the things. I kind of agree like what he was saying. I felt like Obama didn't directly do anything for black people, but I felt like Trump did directly do some things for black people. But I'm like Dr. Umar, he had executive order to do something.
Trump threw some money at some HBCUs.
Whatever. But Obama had the power to do executive order.
And he didn't list one thing that he actually did for them other communities. He just said he laid an executive order. What? Executive order of what? For the Hispanics? What for the Asians?
I don't know. I know.
He's saying he should have.
That's the power he possessed.
I'm not even talking to you. I'm talking about what he said.
Okay.
Because that's what he said. He laid out this executive order that all these races got. What were they? What was detailed in it? If he could have expanded on that a little bit. I'm
pretty sure they made it illegal to commit any type of hate crime against Asians.
Yeah, it's illegal to commit a hate crime against blacks.
It's not all the way.
Well,
Not
mean-
entirely. There's still like
You can still. It's harder to prove.
it normally
Yeah,
ain't
but-
the case.
But what happened with
I
these?
mean,
They were trying to turn all these police killings into hate crimes. Were they not?
You know, another thing that America has never done that would directly benefit at least black people. I mean, all people across the world. They've never outlawed slavery, right?
I mean, yeah,
Slavery is-
it's just legal in some states. Like it's stupid, but
Yeah,
yeah,
It should
some
be
places still.
outlawed across the board.
Oh no, because they don't control the states.
Right.
The states are
But I
individual.
mean, isn't like so if it's a federal law, doesn't the states have to at least comply with
states.
that?
They don't
Some
always
sort of
have to
manner?
go by everything because it's not federal like that. It was state law for slavery.
Well,
Yeah, so it's stupid, and that's why it's still legal here. I'm pretty sure.
You can't say my vote means everything to me, but I'm going to use it on a man who can't do anything for me. It can't be both ways. I'm going to be honest with you. And I don't blame Barack Obama. To his credit, he never said he would do nothing for black people. Do you understand me?
Face value.
When Jesse Jackson ran for president 84, 88, he said he would do something for black people. When Al Sharpton ran, he said he would do something for black people. When Barack Obama ran, he made sure he didn't mention black people. Even in his presidential address, he wouldn't even mention Dr. King by name. He just said a preacher from Georgia. He wouldn't even say his name. Obama stayed as far away from black issues as possible. So to his credit, he didn't lie to us. We projected onto him this messianic complex that's failed us. Because guess what? You know what? Do you think Joe Biden would have ignored black people if we didn't let Obama do it for 8 years? Do you think Donald Trump would have ignored black people if we didn't let Obama do it for 4 years, for 8 years? You will never get another president's attention anymore. Because the whole world watched Black America catch hell and give Barack Obama a pass for 8 years. The worst thing we could have ever done was publicly say it was okay
How do we bring
for him
value?
to not do nothing and just be black.
How do we bring value back into our vote?
Yeah,
You have
because
to organize it along racial lines.
I thought it was disrespectful.
Get out the Democratic Party.
When Joe Biden, when he was asked by Charlemagne,
Yeah.
why should black people vote for you? And he's just like, well, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Like that wasn't an answer. He just was like, yo,
It was disrespectful, but you
Yeah.
know why? And he didn't get no flack from
he
it.
didn't.
But you know why he was comfortable enough to say that? Because the Democratic Party has owned the black vote since 1933.
That's correct.
This is 2023. So in another 9 years, we would have voted Democrat for a century. What have the Democrats done so great
Shit.
that we own our vote for 100 years, brothers? 100 years. 100 years.
Great question.
You see that? Get out to your question. Get out the Democratic Party. Get out the Republican Party. Black people need to become independents, and we need to run and finance our own independent candidates. So when you become mayor of New York, when you become governor of New York, when you become a city council or state rep, you're going to do whatever the black community tells you to do because you don't owe nobody nothing. You didn't take no money from the Rockefellers. You ain't take no money from Chase Manhattan. See that? You ain't take no money from Morgan Stanley. You ain't take no money from Walmart. You ain't take no money from Hyundai. You ain't take the money from McDonald's. You are a free candidate. The problem with our elected officials is 99% of them show up in office already enslaved by the dollar of another man.
So how can
We up there celebrating, oh, he's the new mayor of New York City, like the guy y'all got now.
Shit,
Ain't he a
shit
former
was
police
bored.
officer?
Yeah.
What we vote for him for? He's a damn cop. No disrespect to him. He might be a nice guy. But you fraternal order of police?
His color is blue.
So thank you. Thank you. So what we vote for him for? Because black people love to be
how can an
oppressed.
independent party win them? Because if
You don't need to win. In fact, you don't even need the party. You just need an independent political union. In other words, let's say we're a numerical minority, right?
right,
We could run an independent. We never going to win because whites got more votes than us and Latinos now got more votes than us, right?
right,
Yeah.
We don't have to win. We're going to leverage our votes. We're going to have a political town hall meeting with all the major candidates, Republican Party, Democratic Party, Libertarian, Green Party, right? You say, hey, this is New York City. We got 4 million black votes. And we putting them all in one place. We are not splitting. Do not divide the black vote. Put it together. We're going to ask y'all some questions. After y'all leave, we're going to talk about y'all behind y'all back. We're going to have a big community town hall debate. But when we walk out of here, we agree that majority rules.
right.
And whichever one of y'all we vote for, that's who's going to get the votes. And if you do not deliver on what you promised, very next election, you're gone. They're going to have to deliver. Can they survive without your 4 million votes? Hell no. Hell no.
That's why they said save us for the end and start
Absolutely.
shit to make us
Listen,
happy.
here's what y'all need to understand. Nobody wants an organized black vote. Let me say that again. No black governor candidate wants an organized black vote. No black U.S. Senate candidate, no black U.S. rep, no state rep, state senator, city council. Nobody, black or white, in politics wants an organized black vote. You want to know why? Because you now got the power to hold them accountable. If we was organized, your mayor would have to go to war with the police department on our behalf. He wouldn't have a choice, or he's going to be unseated.
Right.
Do you understand me? You think he wants y'all to be organized? These handkerchief head ass black politicians who don't fight for us and these governmental systems, do you really think they want your vote to be organized? You will make them turn their slave master into an enemy.
Do you think that's why they give women and trans people so much leverage?
Hey, now I do agree 100% with what he says right here. Is that our vote always been taken for granted. And it's like we imprison our vote anyway.
Yeah.
We entrench our vote, and it's like some people, I'm just Democrat, right? And it's just like I said, what am I? And I always say, I'm a vote. I vote. And I always ask myself, what am I getting in return for my vote?
Yeah.
Because first of all, in most cases, I ain't even getting a good candidate, or I just got to accept the candidate in front of me. And I got to say, well, okay, what are you really going to do? I'm going to use my vote to put you in there if you win. Yeah. And now you there, you done with me. And that's basically it. And that's what I go back to when I was talking about Obama. You had an opportunity to do something. And it should be, just like I say, if the blacks are voting, and it's a large majority of us voting, and it's part of the reason you got in there, something should come back to us. We should see something. Not just at vote time, you got to vote. Now you're okay. Now I got to do what's best for everybody. You know, we're in a situation, been in a situation, help that situation now.
Yeah.
In some form. You know, if we ain't getting nothing but free, Fruit Loops every month. You know what I mean? Do something. Come out with the Fruit Loop policy,
Hey, man,
every black person in America get a box of Fruit Loops or something.
Every Monday delivered on your porch.
Yeah, and you know what? All jokes aside, that would be something.
It would be.
Directly for us.
It would be.
Yeah. Just something.
So is that not what food stamps and EBT and all that is?
That's a program to hold you back.
It's a program for the poor.
Because you got to meet certain specific, certification.
It's not exclusive to
even
black people,
get that.
Right.
This is just something as I'm getting my box of Fruit Loops because that's the new policy. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting something.
And your
and you know what, like, hey,
and your EBTs.
Right.
Yeah. If you qualified, this is not.
No, I'm just saying, if you qualify for that, I'm saying you get your EBTs and the Fruit Loops.
Yeah, free Fruit Loops with it. You ain't got to purchase.
Both.
You ain't got to even use your EBT. It's on the how.
Yeah,
right.
We got some, y'all.
No,
I'm just saying.
But no,
but that's it. And it's just like say. But the only thing, once again. How he's presenting what he's saying, it's a far-fetched idea. We're going to put our own resources together. Money, where we going to get the money?
It would have to be from all our top earners.
Okay. And when they going to get together and do what?
We donate to campaigns. He was just saying you need to donate to that.
But when is this going to start?
It's not, because he said it has to be an organized black vote. That's why it's not going to happen.
And that's what I'm saying.
We're too divided. We already are split on the vote anyway, and for different reasons. So we're like, there's already a good chunk of us. It's like half and half. Half Republican, half Democrat. We're already splitting our vote. That's why I said you don't want the organized vote, because it doubles that. And then if you lose all of that, it's negatively going to affect your race, because those millions of votes really do matter because of how close they're getting. Most of these races are very close. So like those millions of votes are vital. So like, say if we just tapped completely out and didn't vote, really would be a free fall.
Unrealistic goals.
But one thing he did say about Barack was that, once again, as black people, we projected all of this to Barack. He's never promised anything.
And that was true.
All this anger is just because we want to be upset at him.
Right.
Overall, his presidency was a success. I'm sorry.
He said recreated.
It was a success. It was a success.
And that was true. It's like he never did really.
He didn't lead anybody to believe anything.
Like, I'm here for y'all.
No, he didn't. And Barack didn't say that. He is just a representation of who we are in that position.
Yeah.
That's it.
He looked like me.
Yeah, but that was it.
He did some cool things.
I mean, he played ball. I mean, Barack, he understands like many cultures. He talks. I mean, he
tried to sing a little soul song.
Wait, was that him? Yeah. No, I'm thinking somebody else that did something really nice. Never mind.
Okay, but yeah, like I say, he did some things that make you feel like we associate.
Look, we were in a better place when his presidency ended. Much better than when it began.
But some of them policies came in.
Keep going, Jay.
Here is my presidential campaign speech / slogan.
All I know is you're not going to get elected until you speak with some more bass.
Right. I will do more for the poor whites and the black community as a whole. That way we have the
already
whole
lost this
covered.
race because he's already left out the Asians. He's left out the Hispanics. He's left out the Laotians. He's left out every other race except for white and black. That percentage is going to be enough to make sure he does not get elected. So,
and he left out the funding.
Right.
How much money you finna get out of this program?
$2.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
$2 nickels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anyway, let's get back to it.
Okay.
A black woman can have sex whenever she wants.
Right.
Because she's beautiful. She can have a bed mate, but to have a soul mate, she may never get. I have 2 daughters, 11 and 20. Right? My oldest will be 21 this week. Statistically, right? There's a strong chance my daughter could be one of those. I hope she's not. She could be one of those who never get a husband because only 1 out of 4 gets a husband. You see that? So when a black woman says, I don't need a man, that is a reaction to the reality that I may not get a man.
So why not preach? Because I understood, you're obviously against interracial relations when it comes to black men with with white women.
With all women. You should only be with the black woman.
And you will say, well, if you can't find a good woman in America, there's
somewhere else.
In Africa.
Absolutely.
So why not teach that same rhetoric to our women? Like if you feel
I tell sisters all the time, go to Africa.
So
I know sisters who marry. I just spoke with a sister. She invited me to the wedding. She just married a brother from the continent.
So, but instead of saying they will never get married, I'll take
sisters to Africa who married brothers they met in Africa.
Right.
So yeah,
I think there's plenty. I think there's obviously plenty of black men,
yes,
black women. So
and what I also tell black women, if you're going to go get you an African man from the continent,
right,
you're going to have to understand that the way in which you talk to black men in America will not be tolerated over there.
Why the fuck is it not tolerated here? That's what we're trying to tell them.
Well, over here, I want to say this to us though. Because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for. Let's be honest. The black woman has had to hold down the black house by herself, although imperfectly. She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of black males began in the 1970s. You understand me? Most of our children are raised by a single mother right now. And it has been that way for about 50 years. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down. Or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be a man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that, and then we want to act like we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection. See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course she's going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need. We are not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising black boys to be the men our community needs. That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying is she got a right to be angry with us. She got a right to be angry with us.
I understand
we have not been on our job as black men. If the men are the providers, What have we been providing for our community? I'm not speaking you individually.
Yes.
Because you may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. But guess what? What are we doing for the community? What are we doing for the children who don't have a father? You don't think the black woman got a right to be angry when she's been raising 2/3 of the kids by herself for 50 years? And the minute she raised her voice, we say she's not humble enough? She had to become masculine to survive the rape, the molestation, the domestic abuse. Are you telling me you can't see how we created that?
I understand that, but she needs
If
to
we
be
was
more
loving
selective.
our women and taking care of our women, do you think she would be like that? That personality has a history.
If she's picking Pookie and Ray Ray instead of
You're making her a scapegoat.
No, she's picking a scapegoat.
No.
There's good
Can I ask you a
quality
question?
men that they ignore.
Why she even got it? Why is there even a Pookie in the selection?
Somebody's finally speaking to this. While I've always agreed and joked that, you know, women make terrible decisions as far as picking out men, this is the most valid thing I've ever heard. What the hell do you want them to pick from, dog? It's nothing but garbage out here.
No, okay.
That's what I'm saying. There's not a lot.
And I know the guys that are like, oh, well, how come I never get a chance? And that there's some validity to that too, and some realness to that too. But at the same time, like, we should be focusing on making everybody feel that way, and then, or at least feel like the mindset of doing the right thing and wanting to be in a relationship and having the chance of building and growing a successful relationship with somebody, instead of the superficial, hypersexual, I'm in it to get that bread, get that head, then leave bullshit, right?
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
But I mean, again, we're fighting another
winless battle.
winless fight. Yeah, winless battle.
Losing fight.
We're already there.
Beating down
That's
the
what
dead
it's gonna
horse.
be. Yeah.
It's
So
kind of like a
right.
Well, yeah,
they choosing that, and that's what they like said. If you choose them from a bad batch, hoping to get something good out of it,
yeah.
I mean,
I just don't
every now and then you get a diamond, and in a
Diamond in the
haystack.
rough.
Yeah,
I just don't think we're being very realistic about some of it.
Yeah,
Like,
so-
I mean, what is, so like this, we got 3 guys on this panel, just like they have multiple men on the panel. And a lot of it, we just look at it from dude point of view, where it's like, you know what? We only can look at it as they're the problem. And that's what a lot of them look at it as. And they only look at it through their lens. And they think there's all these really good guys out there. There are plenty of good dudes.
There
Yes,
are super copious amounts of trash ass.
a lot of trash. Like, if you just talk to the average guy on a daily basis, most of them lie, and most of them make excuses for half the stuff that goes wrong.
Right.
A lot. I run into a lot of them, and most of them are just your everyday, businessmen or people that just go to work. But most of them, if they got in a relationship with a woman, they ain't gonna act the same. They're just not. Most of them are gonna change once they actually enter like relationship dynamics. But let's finish
In
this
the
part.
selection.
You gotta ask Heather.
No. I'm gonna tell you why there's a Pookie in the selection.
Why?
Because black men have abandoned black boys and have allowed social media, white media, athletes, and rappers to raise them. That's why she with Pookie. If we never allowed Pookie to develop, she would not have a Pookie. If we're going to be men, the first thing we got to do is take responsibility for why our women feel the way they feel.
I can hear that.
I'm
I can
not
respect
saying that they're right to disrespect, because even if a woman disrespects me, right? That still don't give me a right to disrespect her, because she's still the queen of the community. Even if she not acting like it, I'm going to give her that respect. But when I hear brothers talk like this discourse we having now, we act like we don't understand.
No,
There's reasons for that shit.
I do understand. Women are so valuable. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think women ground men and help them, propel to the next level. I think men get further in life with a woman, right? But if I'm a hardworking man, but I'm only looked at as resources,
Okay.
and then she's ready to jump on Tom, Dick, and Harry because he got flash, he's shining a little bit more, his access to money is quicker than mine. It's kind of hard to have that.
Well, no, one, I agree with you, but that's not all sisters.
No, it's not. It's
And if
not.
you're constantly running into that type of woman, then the problem is you, because you're attracting a certain low vibrational energy. Why is
why
that?
not have that same energy for women? You just again, you held the
Because
man
we having a
responsible.
conversation as men.
Yeah.
I got plenty of interviews with all women where I check them too.
All right.
But as a man,
So he's having that energy for the Pookies. If we eliminated the Pookie, there would be no Pookie, right? If we didn't allow the Pookie to grow and manifest, Pookie wouldn't stand a chance. But now you're kind of just enabling and being soft on the women. For every Pookie, there's an equal Shaquisha out there, right? You know, that ain't worth a damn and is just purely using people to get by, you know, grifting and all that type of stuff. Being a nuisance to the community. And we also, I mean, maybe something for the women to decide as how do they want to go about that. But if we're getting rid of the Pookie and we're trying to get rid of the Pookie mentality, we also need to get rid of the Shaquisha mentality as well.
Oh no, we should definitely try to abolish that mentality, because that mentality is definitely killing women, especially black women. I mean, it's murdering them. So like that needs to end, and it's also getting black men killed. So like literally, like that mentality is actually literally getting people killed. So it needs to go, and so does the Pookie. It does the same thing. It just leads to death. So it's one of those things that we should probably work on. Also, dang it, I kind of lost my thought. He was talking, you know, go ahead.
He said something about also, you know, that the women been raising the children by themselves for basically 50 years or something.
Yeah, 2/3 of the kids for 50 years.
So he sort of kind of say he gives the woman the pass. And then like I say, that's kind of like everything. I know how people can get a little wishy-washy sometimes. Cause if you incarcerating everybody at a high rate, you remove the man from the house. So somebody got to raise them kids. So if the man ain't there, then the woman's kind of stuck in that position.
And I think,
and then
after
later, you still got welfare.
Yeah.
And then if you're trying to get on welfare, they say, well, we'll give you this, and that. And then they don't allow the man in the household. So that's another step, between incarceration, welfare, whatever, is keeping a man out the house.
Yeah.
And in most cases at this point, the man if he ain't allowed, he ain't gonna, a few might push to be involved a little bit, but most of them gonna come around every now and then and play daddy,
most people don't want to be stepdaddy.
Yeah.
But that's in most situations in general. Like a lot of times people just don't want to be stepdaddy. It don't matter if it's Pookie Ray was the father.
I'm saying actually the real father. Yeah. If you don't allow, because like I say, between being locked up, welfare, and you not being allowed to do certain things, a lot of them ain't gonna take the step to find themselves involved with their child because the numbers say it.
Well, he's become Pookie. You know what I'm saying? That guy, he's Pookie.
But Pookie might come around every now and then and want to play daddy. On a birthday or something with no gift.
But no, I mean
he might have been Jamal before he went to jail. Once he went to jail, he became Pookie.
Yeah. And like I said, it could have not been even his fault why he went to jail. Could have got caught up into some.
But okay.
Got thrown off. And that's what I'm saying. You got different avenues.
But we got to be honest.
I'm just saying.
Majority of the time.
Probably something went off, but it just like I said,
something
still
that could have been avoided.
Yes. It still could have been either way.
It leads to a deeper problem. Like, it's because we don't hold enough men accountable side by side. Sort of like that thing we watched off camera with Stephen A, talking about Paul Pierce, KG and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then Shady McCoy and Brandon Marshall, Deshaun Jackson. They didn't hold him accountable. We don't bring up the conversation. Hey, man, you know what? Your behavior is going to lead to your demise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We just don't bring it up. That's why it's important to bring it up. If you never bring it up, nobody's ever brought that to your attention because everybody keeps giving you that pass. Nobody holds you accountable. And if at that point you allow for that person to develop into Pookie, the Pookie mindset could have got killed. He could have still been Jamal. But he's no longer Jamal because he just kept engaged in Pookie behavior. So thus that's what he became and had that mindset. Now, the women not allowing men coming back in the household, that's dime a dozen. That's depending on each individual case. Right. Sometimes the man wasn't worth probably bringing back in the house. Probably didn't want him back in the house. And
interpersonal relationships are very difficult and all that to manage. So, and then you also got to be selective of who you're getting pregnant.
No, that's the thing. Is
that helps.
Another thing
you should be better.
Helps.
Men should be doing is definitely not getting every girl on the street pregnant.
No, I'm sorry, but it's irresponsible.
Especially though they can't offer no money.
They can't take care. They can't
offer
take care
nothing.
And like dude did in the one video, he never planned on taking care of the kids anyway. This was never going to do it.
He was never going to do it.
No, it's never going to sign in. Now I will say, because we were talking about him contradicting himself. Oh, this is the part that I was going to say earlier. He has to like appeal to his fan base, which is mostly black women. So this is where his message starts getting real muddy. When it starts becoming to this. Sort of like he was starting to get muddy earlier in the other things he was discussing too. It starts balancing back and forth because we won't finish it on this video today, but this is how he built his school. He got white funding to finish his school because he couldn't rely on the black people to fund his school because he was trying to get it done, but we weren't stepping up, is what he was saying. So thus he went and outsourced. So that's hypocritical to his message to an extent, but that's also how he was talking about how we need things to work. But he's also preaching a message saying that we need to be all black. But he already knows that we can't be all black. So he just, like we were saying, he talks in such generalities that it leads to mass confusion. There's no solution to a lot of these problems. He talks them out there, sounds great because he's a great speaker. But we also get to the point, it's like, some of these solutions you're talking about, they just can't feasibly happen.
They won't.
They won't. I mean, it just...
How you gonna put it together?
Like, please tell me. I need that plan.
Yeah.
That is the plan. The almighty push.
Right. It's like you said, sound great, but how is it gonna happen?
Check them too. Right. But as a man, you should not be concerned about what I say to them. No. As men, we should be concerned of what we're going to do to produce a better generation of black males for tomorrow. That's the only that is where we should be focusing.
Women bring the choice of life, right? We understand that, right? I can't have a child unless a woman agrees.
And she can't carry one if you didn't put it in her.
I agree with that 100% too, right? But whether or not, if you want that child or not, she can still make that decision. It's only up to her. If you don't
put a seed in her, nothing else happens. And no woman can make you put a seed in her. So the original act was the responsibility of a man.
True. I mean,
all right. So, did black men willingly leave the household, or was it the system that was?
It was systemic.
All right. So,
that one's undeniable.
Yeah. I had to quickly stop it there, just because. Yes, I'm sorry for people who, as a man, we in charge when it comes to that. Like,
you don't just fuck around and get somebody pregnant by accident.
It's not an accident. It is, but it ain't.
Right.
It's not. You can control that. You can. You can. You can control that.
Right.
You can make it to where that never happens.
It's not like the cooties where I touch you and then all of a sudden
it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work that way.
Right. And I know people used to talk about like, oh, this woman set me up. This woman set me up. And I was sitting there thinking, I'm saying, well, how can you get set up with something you actually in control?
I know, right?
Of the situation.
What are you talking about?
Now, I don't know what she could have did.
She sold me a dream, then put me in a vice grip.
But you with the ideal of that, if I go in here and do what I'm doing, something could come out of it. Because if I'm doing it, that's where it starts. He's right about that.
Yeah.
So I had complete control of that.
Yeah.
So whatever she was setting me up to do, I was setting myself. Because I went in.
I was going
with
right
the
along.
idea. I was possibility it was going to happen.
It's always on the table.
I wasn't doing anything to stop it.
Yeah.
So if she was setting me up, I didn't stop.
Really didn't do anything to stop it. Didn't even put a condom on or anything.
There are a lot of times and moments before the transaction takes place where you can opt out.
Right.
There's a lot of moments for reject. Awkward, but it's there.
The thing is the mentality.
It is.
Nobody wants to be the guy, especially at a young age. I couldn't imagine. You would get clowned on infinitely if you ever
passed up
in your friend group, or in her friend group or whatever. Especially now.
I mean, certain ages, there's a lot of peer pressure.
So that's kind of when it happens. That's kind of when a majority of them happen, right?
Yeah, but that's why, not really. You know what I'm saying? That is a lot of times. Yeah, you got young kids, people that have kids, but this also happens with people my age too. So like,
in the
that's
early
why
20s and late
it starts to
20s
become
too,
really inexcusable around my age. Like
yeah.
it has to stop. Like you made enough excuses at this point. I can always give certain people, at certain age points down some leeway because things happen. You know what I'm saying? That, and you're not fully developed. I mean, you're fully developed to an extent, but it's like you haven't experienced enough in life to make you counter most of these decisions or thinking there's really another option.
Right.
Most dudes like you're 21 or 22 years old, even younger, older, just a couple years. I'll give you a pass at like 25. There's gonna be moments in time where you're like, I didn't think I could just not. If you were there, you didn't think you could not finish or pursue or go all the way. You had to get
on
the
top
home
of
plate.
that. Yeah, this was the first thought that I had whenever I had my first encounter with a woman. If I say no, I might never get the chance again. And so far, it took some years after that before I even had the chance.
Before you were back to play it again.
Right.
Okay.
So that is the mentality that some people have. I remember that thinking that way.
I guess, yeah,
Like,
I can see where some people have that. Well, because you got to think,
How
there's some
could I
people
turn
who really
this down?
don't.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. There's some people that just never get a chance after that.
There's a lot of guys who just don't. Like, think about guys you walked around just in school. There's plenty of them that don't interact with women on a regular basis.
It's since middle school.
Sometimes you got to make that payment. I'm saying, if you get to a point you can't work out nothing. But I mean, everybody got a job. I mean, I'm gonna have to go somewhere and make that payment.
It was a male pride ego thing of like, oh, we found out. So I remember the first time I even heard about some dude having like some form of sex with a girl, right? I don't want to throw him under the bus, but Devin received oral relations from a girl in the 6th grade bathroom at Oakland Middle. I'm putting it out there.
Putting their business in the street on.
Right. And that was the first time I had ever heard of a guy actually doing anything with a girl. I don't know if anything might have happened with that, but that's the first time that I had ever received news that, first of all, that you could even do that.
That's cool.
I know, right? But and then so after that, it kind of I did notice a shift or a change in some of these dudes. It did kind of become like, well, when am I gonna do that?
Well, yeah, no,
everybody looking for
that's
right. The hook up now.
Right.
Everybody becomes
from her.
No, everybody becomes instantly jealous. No, and that's true too.
Yeah.
Everybody becomes instantly jealous of that dude. Right. And then some people start worshiping that guy.
Right.
Yeah, you got the crowd that starts worshiping him like, hey man, what's up? You got the like fanboys and
like all he did was get some head. But he's the coolest dude on earth.
He the cool guy.
And you know what? Dude fell off. A good shout out to Devin though. He's a good person, but like he got cool. Then he was in the
man in the 6th grade.
And World of Warcraft and all that. The most uncool shit at the time. Still cool to me because I thought it was fun. But the most by paper uncool shit, and then all these people hyping him up, like you got the jocks and all that hyping him up and all that stuff. Yeah, and then like afterwards he lost it because he went back to doing what he was doing. But somehow he managed to come up out of that situation. So I thought that was crazy, but yeah, it's pride.
He had a lot of pressure on him.
I hope you know AJ has been desperately wanting to get on this couch.
My bad.
But your lack of self-awareness over there he's okay. He's just been offset, taking the whole episode off. But
taking the whole episode off. We're down 2 people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The 5-man, we were a 5-man team. You done kicked AJ offset, so but that was funny though.
But that was crazy though. Like and then I kind of felt that way after a while. I was like, damn, when am I gonna get anything going on?
No, I mean it leads to the pack mentality. People start wondering, like, hey, who's next? You know what I'm saying? What's happening?
So were people just hanging around the bathroom at this point? They're like, how did this go down? Did she people just looking in there?
I think they got caught or something like that. But people like speak about stuff like that all the time. Word gets around about all the crazy
what happened to her?
I'm sure she's, I don't know.
Did she fall off?
Maybe.
Probably. The first one to fall is usually the first one to fall off.
Yeah.
Right.
She could have bounced back, came back.
I'm
a changed person.
I will say that happens probably about.
They don't call me Becky no
you know
more.
what? She's in the situation where she's married with kids and all that. I got a great relationship going on, but dude will never know about what any of the.
He already probably knows.
Yeah,
probably.
He probably knows.
Yeah,
it's too late. She won. She's good.
Her name used to be Becky.
Those situations probably.
Yeah, she was one of those percentages that worked out.
I just made a bad decision one day.
Well, you know what
I was doing.
I didn't know.
You know, I think this is actually going to be a good spot to wrap.
I was under pressure.
This was obviously I'm going to leave a link to the description. Link in the description about this podcast. So feel free to watch the Daily Wrap Up crew with this interview with Dr. Umar Johnson. It was a 2-parter, so feel free to watch that. It's really good. Thanks for rocking with us again today. I'm trying to think if we have anything else. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for all the new subscribers that's out there. Greg will be back with us again next time. And I guess we'll be seeing you soon. Peace.
Watch The Blackening. It is a very entertaining, modern take on horror comedy. Very refreshing, funny movie.
We might be doing a review sometime soon.
Great movie.
All right.
Holla at your boy.